Alright guys, 1870 off-road Bible studies. Yeah, once again we're not off-roading, we're at my house. At least we got Jeep in the background this time. It's not raining and extremely humid and mosquitoes. Hey, anyways, let's get on it. Come out of her, my people, is what we're going to talk about today. Revelation chapter 18, verse 4. Revelation 17 sets this up. It talks about the beast that ascends out of the abyss and the great harlot rides with her. The harlot is the mother of Babylon. What is Babylon today? It could make the case to you. Most people are going to tell you Babylon is some ancient Roman empire that's come back to life or something like that. Look, guys, that's a child's version of Scripture. That is the little golden book version of Scripture. Little pop-up figures come out. That's the fairy tale version. God, I hope Scripture is that way. Guys, I'm telling you right now, Jesus Christ himself said this time in the end of days will be more terrifying than anything you've ever seen since the days of Noah. But we've seen the Roman Empire. We've seen the horrendous things the Roman Empire did. What's coming is way worse than that. What's coming is worse than the thing Islam did. It's worse than the Meadows massacre that happened out there in Utah. We're talking things worse than what the Greeks were doing, worse than what the Assyrians were doing. Things that are coming are horrible. Come out of her, my people. So what then does that mean? If we're not talking about a Roman Empire, what does it mean come out of her? So let's read Revelation chapter 18, picking up after 17, where the beast is ascended from the abyss. He says, 18:1, After these things I saw another angel coming down from heaven, having great authority, and the earth was illuminated with all his glory. And he cried with a mighty voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and has become a dwelling place of demons, a prison for every foul spirit, and a cage for every unclean and hated bird. Well, Paul's right there, guys. If you are not familiar with Isaiah chapter 13, Isaiah chapter 34, that's what he's quoting right there, by the way. All these fallen things, yeah, that's demons. I think it actually, did it say demons? It says right there, a dwelling place of demons, prison for every foul spirit, and a cage for every clean and hated bird. Now go back and know that he's talking about demons and reread Isaiah 13 and Isaiah 34 and realize he was talking about demons all the time. The whole Lilith thing in the end of 34 there, oh yeah. Yeah, the hated bird, the unclean bird. Go watch the movie The Fourth Kind, and you will understand what that is. That movie's terrifying, by the way. Especially when you believe it. It wasn't aliens, though. Anyways, verse 3. For all the nations have drunk the wine of the wrath of her fornication. The kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth have become rich through the abundance of her luxury. Now she has fallen, right? She has fallen. So prior to the beast ascending out of the abyss, prior to that, she falls, right? And then she ascends back up out of the beast, out of the abyss, the beast. Think about that beforehand. What is Babylon beforehand? I've always said Babylon is the richest, most powerful country in the world. And for my entire life, that was America, with the exception of in the past 10 years, I started thinking it might be China. The way our leaders in this country seem to want to cut our own throat every day and just choke us down with pointless regulation and rules and sell everything we own to other countries, I'm like, and give all our wealth away and go start wars all over the world. I began to think it might be China. But, you know, things lately have kind of turned back to a very much pro-America stance, and America is very quickly ascending back to the top. So once again, I believe America, I'd be proud to be American here, I believe we once again are going to be the great harlot of the end of days, the great Babylon. All the earth commits fornication with us. I mean, guys, we invented the internet. And if you don't know this, we invented the internet to trade porn. That's where the internet came from. Pretty big fornication right there. I mean, how many things did we invent in this country? We invented nuclear fission or fusion. Hang on. Are you fusing it or fizzing it? You split an atom, so you're fizzing it. Nuclear fusion is what the sun does. You're splitting an atom, you're fizzing it. So you can take uranium-237 and you bombard it in the free atoms, and it splits the uranium in half, and the uranium becomes whatever half of uranium is. What is half of uranium when you heat up under pressure? Whatever particle is like something else becomes uranium. Anyways, that's how nuclear fission works. We created nuclear fission. We were able to unlock the... By the way, nuclear fission is just snapping the strong force. You take a really big particle like uranium and you snap it in half. And the strong force... I'm trying to think of the strong force or weak force. The weak force is weak, but across a big... Yeah, so the strong force is really strong, but it's a very tight area. And when you snap that strong force, it releases energy. That's what the atomic bomb is. That's what a nuclear weapon is. Right? That's what you're doing there. Nuclear fission. All that energy we release, what did we do with it? We used it to kill people. Were we powering houses with this energy? No, we made that illegal. We're trying to stop doing that. Are we powering the world? We're providing electricity to the world, air conditioning, to help people out, plumbing, to help people's houses clean? No, we're blowing people up with it. That's what we do with that. That's what America brought to the world. Tell me again, Babylon is some Roman Empire. Romans didn't have the ability to make nuclear weapons. Romans didn't have... I mean, God, you see what Israel did a while back? Blowing up the cell phones? When they were... Or pagers, whatever they did to the Hezbollah? And they were making them blow up and killing them? They figured out how to hack their phones and make their phones explode. I mean, that kind of stuff didn't exist 2,000 years ago. We were way worse and way more evil. Roman Empire, what a child. This is not the Roman Empire being revived, guys. Freaking child story. Oh my Lord, people. Come on. Anyways. Chapter 18, verse 4. Getting fired up about this one. I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, lest you share in her sins, lest you receive of her plagues. That's the verse I want to talk to you about, guys. Right now, in America, you are a slave. You are a slave to the way of life you think is normal. I tell this to my kids all the time. Normal is whatever you grew up with, and everybody grows up with a different normal. I explain this to them when my oldest one went to college, and now that my youngest one's going in. I explain to them all the time, you're going to find things that you think are normal, and you're going to go to school, and you're going to realize there's other people who don't do these things, that do things that are not normal. But then they're going to look at you the exact same way. And they're going to be like, well, I do this thing every day, and this is normal. They're going to look at you not to get like, well, this person ain't normal. Everybody's normal is different. So, what is normal? Don't be normal. Normal is financing your house for 30 years that you can barely afford the payments on. Then turning right around and financing a car for however long you finance a car. 5 years now? 6 years? 7 years? Some of these things I hear go pretty long time nowadays. And you can't afford it. And normal is taking a credit card and buying your clothes and your furniture and your groceries and making payments every month because you can't afford none of this stuff. That's normal. That is slavery. That is bondage. If you've ever read the book of Proverbs, it tells you all the time. The borrower is slave to the lender. Come out of her. People, come out of her. Come out of consumerism. Imagine, have you ever thought to yourself how generous you could be if you had more financial freedom? Think about that. How much more generous would you be if you could take 20% off your house payment? If you could make a car payment disappear and then not have to have full coverage insurance? Think about that. Come out of her. You don't need this stuff. None of this stuff's that important. If you look around here, this is the only thing I've had that's worth any kind of money, car-wise. All these cars I got around here are beaters. Except for this Jeep. Every car I bought, I got the car because something was wrong with it. And I was like, I can fix it. And I can keep it running. I've had this truck for 10 years. I've had that white truck out there. Between me and my grandfather, we've had that white truck for 30 years. The Yukon over there I've had for 2 or 3 years. I ain't had it very long. But all these cars I picked up. When I got the white truck, it didn't run. When I got the red truck, it had a bunch of problems with it. I had to fix. And I bought the Yukon. It was barely running. All these things didn't run, and I fixed them because I don't want to make car payments. This is the first thing I ever bought that actually ran good, didn't need any work done to it. It was very low miles when I bought it. It was 2 years old. The point is, come out of her. Now, I think a very good lesson is following the Dave Ramsey stuff. Very good lesson, how to live your life. The baby step program is awesome. It's great. But I would tell you, I want you to do it for a different reason. I don't want you to continue in consumerism, but do it without debt. Don't get me wrong, that's a better way to do it. But don't do that part. What I want you to do, and Dave pushes this, he just don't push this part enough. I think he lets you decide your own way with your own walk and your own faith. I want you to come out of consumerism. You don't need this stuff. Yes, don't get me wrong, you need a house. Just go buy a house. Right? And I ain't telling you to go buy a dump. You can buy a house that's nice and stuff works in it. But again, what are you doing with the extra space in the house if you don't need it? Right? And trust me, I ran into this problem when I bought this house. I could not find a house small enough for me. I waited years before I bought my house. I bought an 1,800 square foot house. And I said when I bought this house, I don't need but half of it. I can't find a house smaller that has land. Land I made a justification for. But anyways, we're not talking about me, we're talking about you. You don't need a fancy car. You need a car that runs. You need a car that's reliable. I get that. Especially if you got to drive to another town to work, or if you're like me and you drive through multiple towns to get to work. Because the only way I could afford to have some land, so that I could have a farm, so that I could have some self-reliance, was to move really far away from my work. Which means I have to have multiple cars, because they just break on me. And while one's broke, I'm working another one, and this one's running, and this one breaks, and then I got this one fixed by then, so I can drive this one. And then that one breaks, and then I got two that run, and I'll work on that one. And before I finish that, one of these other two is going to break again. Because I put so many miles on a car. I burn through cars like crazy. I have the ability to fix cars, so that's the thing I made. I'm using me as an example here to tell you, though, come out of her. All that stuff I'm describing you, let me describe you a car payment. You take a used car. Go buy a $20,000 used car. It's probably about, I don't know what this Jeep's worth. Maybe it's worth 20. I don't know. Maybe it's worth 10. I couldn't tell you. I don't know. You go buy, let's say this Jeep's worth $20,000. You go finance $20,000, and you pay $500 a month for this Jeep for 5 years. $6,000. So that's $30,000, right? $30,000. That's what it's going to cost you to finance a $20,000 car, by the way. You're going to pay $500 a month for 5 years, and you're going to pay $30,000 for it. The bank's going to make 10 grand off of you, because if you're borrowing money, you probably ain't got money, which means you probably ain't got great credit. So you're going to pay a higher interest rate. The bank is going to make $10,000 on that. They're going to give a cut of that to the dealership. They're going to make $1,000, $1,500 from the bank for selling you that loan or that car. Now think about this. 5 years later, when you pay this car off and you've racked miles up on it, and now it's pull 3.6 over here, it's probably just spun a camshaft and needs another engine, or is about to need another engine, you ain't going to get $5,000 for this thing when you go sell it in 5 years. You took a $20,000 car, paid $30,000 for it, and when you pay it off, you have a $5,000 car. Do you see the math on this not working? It gets even better. You say to yourself at the end of this, I need another new car. I got to get to work. This car sucks. You take your $5,000 car you have now, you go trade it into a dealership. Dealership's only give you $2,000 for it. Like, hey, sorry, trade-in value. We got to make some skin on the bones so we can sell it. They're going to turn around, flip it to another dealership. They're going to make $1,500 off of selling your car to another dealership. That dealership's going to mark it up $1,500, sell it for $5,000. They may even sell it for $6,000. With the bad engine, by the way. You're going to take that money. They're going to say, hey, we're going to give you $2,000 down. You go out there a lot, pick whatever car you want. You go out there in a lot and pick that car. Oh, there's that car here, $20,000. We've been down this road before, $500 a month. I can afford that. You're asking the wrong number. It's $20,000. You start paying $500 a month. Now you've paid $30,000 for another $20,000 car that is now worth $5,000 when you pay it off. You see this repetition of pattern you're in here? Let's phrase this another way. Imagine you're drunk and you like to drink alcohol. You really want to serve God, but you just love alcohol and you can't put it down. Like, God, I enjoy this. God, I love God, I love Jesus. Why can't I have a beer? Why can't I have 4? Right? You want to get drunk. Now imagine one day, God calls you. I need you. Son, I need you. Go out here and help these people. And you're like, Lord, I can't go. I've had 4 beers. I can't drive. It'd be illegal. You wouldn't have me break the law, would you? Of course not. He wouldn't want you to break the law. It's clearly in Scripture. Do not break the law. So he's not going to ask you to break the law. But you get the moral of the story there. God called upon you, and your life decisions meant you couldn't serve him. You were not able to help him. Same thing happens with a car, guys. When you've thrown away $60,000 on the cars, and you have you've now spent $60,000 on cars, and you have a $5,000 car. You've blown $55,000. God calls you. Hey, there's a homeless guy over here. There's a woman, single mother over here in need. Go give her $500. Help her out. You're like, Lord, I can't. I'll miss my car payment. God can't use you because you are a slave to Babylon. See what that car payment did for you? You're a slave to Babylon. Come out of her, my people. Guys, listen, if you want to come out of Babylon, it is not a short process. It takes time. Believe me, I did it. I was in Babylon and I got myself out of Babylon. It was some tough decisions I had to make. I cut off everything. I didn't have internet. I didn't have TV service. I didn't have car payments. Every dollar I made went to paying off debt when I got divorced. And I paid off all of it. Everything in my name, everything in her name. We walked away from that marriage clear. I cleared out anything that had both our names attached to it. Got rid of all of it. Paid it all completely off. Everything was cleared. It took me years to do that, by the way. I came out of her. I did not want any part of Babylon. I did not want to be in that system no more. I was disgusted with it. I grew up poor. I married into a middle-class family, and I very quickly found out middle class sucks. I have no desire to be middle class. It is a financial trap to be middle class. Don't do it. Come out of her, my people. You live in the richest nation ever in the history of the world, and you ain't got a dollar to show for it. How useful are you to God? God calls you and said, I need $100 to help somebody in need. And you can't even do it. Picture this last thing for me before you go. What's the average family make nowadays? $75,000 a year? It used to be like 60. It used to be 50. I don't know what it is nowadays. We're going to say $75,000 a year as I'm getting eaten up by mosquitoes because I want to go inside. Let's say you make $75,000 a year and you're 45 years old. You're the same age I am right now. 45 years old. $75,000 a year. Do you realize from the time you were 30 to the time you were 45, you made $1 million? You're the average person in America. You're a millionaire. You've made $1 million over that 15 years. What do you have to show for it? What good have you done with that $1 million? And how much of that $1 million did you blow on interest to a bank? Did you blow an interest to a house payment? Did you blow an interest to a credit card? Interest to a car payment? Not even the principal. We're talking how much money you wasted on the principal of a car. No, scratch that. Don't worry about how much money you waste on the principal of all the junk you bought with a credit card that you didn't need. And you know you didn't need it. You wanted it. It was an impulse buy. It was a passion buy. You didn't need it. Forget the principal. Think of how much you paid just on interest because you borrowed the money to buy those shoes you didn't need or to buy those wheels and tires you don't need. I'm talking to guys just as much as I'm talking to women. Come out of her, my people, is the message for this one. Don't just get out of debt. Come out of consumerism. That's what I want to tell you. Come out of consumerism. Be ready and willing to serve God when He calls upon you. He will call upon you. He will want you and He will need you. Revelation 18 clearly warns you. When the end of days is coming, He's calling all His people out of her. You live in the richest nation in the history of the world, in the richest time in the history of the world. Kings in the Old Testament do not live as good as poor people live in America. My grandmother was the poorest person I ever personally knew. Lived in a trailer park and worked at Walmart her entire life until she moved into my basement when I bought this house. Because I finished out a room for her in the basement. She spent the last several years of her life living here with me. Until that point, she was the poorest person I personally knew. And I'm telling you right now, she lived a better life than the kings did in the Old Testament. She wasn't hungry. She was hot. Air conditioning didn't work very good. I gave her that one. It was hot. So were they. They didn't have air conditioning. Think about that. You think you cook food? They cooked food. They farmed food. Guys, you went to McDonald's. What's that to me? I just went to Dairy Queen. You went to Dairy Queen and you got a double cheeseburger. God, it was good too. You went to Dairy Queen and got a double cheeseburger. I didn't cook that. Servants cooked that. I paid Dairy Queen to cook me a burger. That's how rich I am in the richest time in the history of this world. That's how rich you are. How many times have you paid somebody to cook you a meal? Gets even better. Open your pantry. How much of that food in there is pre-cooked by somebody else in a factory who had a worker that you hired as your servant? Think about that when you think about the parable of the servant who got his debts forgiven and went after everybody else. You're not the poor servant, guys. If you're in America and you're hearing my voice, you are probably the rich person in all these stories. You think rich people back in the day didn't blow all their money? Oh, they did it. Old Testament time, rich people blew their money like crazy on stuff they didn't need to impress people they didn't know. That's something like that is how Dave Ramsey says that. I don't remember exactly how he says it, but you get the idea. Things you don't need with money you don't have to impress people that you don't know. Rich people have been doing it forever. And guys, look around America. We are the richest people in the history of this world, and we ain't got a dollar to our name. But yet, the average family in America in the past 15 years made $1 million. The average family in America is a millionaire, and they have nothing to show for it. Come out of her, my people. I really hope somebody hears this. Guys, you got to come out of her. Revelation 18:4. Come out of her. Get out of consumerism. Get out of Babylon. I ain't telling you to leave America. Babylon is the system. Come out of the system. Separate yourself from the system. You know, if you buy a car nowadays, that you don't even own your heated seats. These new cars that make... All right, I'm in the kitchen. I was making a point about new cars, and you have to have subscriptions to do anything in a new car nowadays. From what I've been hearing, I don't have a new car. But I'm going to wrap it up with this, guys, because I ran out of battery. I'm in my house now on a cable. Come out of Babylon. You're spending too much money on things you don't need to impress people you don't know with money you don't have, and you live in the richest time in the history of the world. Come out of Babylon while you still have a chance, because the time is coming that Babylon is going to be burned to the ground. Please don't be part of Babylon when it burns to the ground. Let it burn without you, not with you still in it. That's all I got, guys. Agent 70 Off-Road Bible Studies. Yeah, tying current day events and prophecy together. I hope you enjoyed.